Good morning, good morning. How are you? How do you feel? How was the talk? Was it good? Was it fine? Did you find here well? How was your journey? Everything good? Everything fine? If not, tell me afterwards. It's great to have you here. Welcome to stage 1 at Digitale Leute Summit. Stefan already mentioned it. A couple of you are here since the very early versions of Digitale Leute Summit. The same counts for me. My name is Thomas Riedel. I'm a tech journalist from Cologne and employee number 1 of Digitale Leute. So together with Stefan, we created this format, and it's so glad and so happy. So great, that's the word I was seeking for. It's so great that we still continue to have this great conference about digital product development. And today on stage 1, we will have great content for you, great knowledge, good knowledge. And yeah, can't wait to show you what we have prepared for you. It will be a really nice day. So some things you need to know before we start here the show on the stage. First, as you have seen, we have 5 minutes breaks between every slot. And that means you need to stand up quickly, go to the other stage and move quite quickly to see everything you want to see. But this also gives you the chance to check out the sponsors, the booths we have prepared for you this year on the outside of this stage. So talk to those guys, please. We will have a lunch break and a coffee break. I will also announce them so you don't miss it. If your body don't tells you I need something to eat, I will remind you that you will have the chance to eat something. And of course, you can ask questions. This is not a top-down conference. This is a conference where you are supposed to start a dialogue between you guys and also, of course, with the speakers. So I will have a microphone for you after each talk, and of course you can ask questions. So when this stage kicks off in a couple of minutes, remember you can prepare your questions already in your head and ask them afterwards. Great show. Maybe we counter them a little bit. So how do you feel this morning? That's not bad, but maybe we should be a little bit more louder. How do you feel this morning? All right. You are an awesome audience. Thank you very much. And please use the Umbrella app. The Brella app. It's called Brella, not Umbrella. We don't need any umbrellas today. So, all right. So, we're gonna start with the first topic of the day. And I'm really happy that we keep continuing telling the stories of product development. Last year, we started the topic with the CTO of RedCare here in the first row. Grab him and asking things because he's very experienced. We started the story to tell how is RedCare doing, and we will continue this year with even 2 people on stage. Maybe not next year there are 3 people. We're adding every year one guy on the stage. So this year it's about fail fast and fix faster, which is a great motto. But how do you apply that when building in a world where regulations change as quickly as technology? In this talk, Kanchi and Serena will reveal the mistakes that ultimately became the foundation for RedCare's success and the strategies they used to adapt to customers' unasked-for changes. So please welcome, with a warm round of applause, Kanchi Navaratnam, Director of Product Development, and Serena Nelapatee, Lead Product Owner at RedCare Pharmacy.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Did everyone get a coffee? Yes. If you don't, then we'll have enough adrenaline to share with you all. As Thomas mentioned, last year we had Bernhard presenting, and this year we have Kanchi and I presenting. We are going through a growth phase at RedCare. So my name is Serena, and I'm a lead product owner at RedCare. I take care of the e-prescription and pharma topics. I am from New Zealand, the land down under. And yes, I'm sure all of you wondered, why would I trade in the beautiful beaches of New Zealand for the sexiness of Berlin? Well, there's a long story, but one of them is, on top of my many interests, I'm a huge health system nerd. And Germany has the largest social insurance-based health system. It also has culturally, let's say, interesting tendencies towards data and digitalization. So I'm a glutton for a challenge. The challenge is here. RedCare also accepts a challenge, and that's also why we have this motto of fail fast, fix faster. Lots of trial and error on my part, company's part, to get to the place we are today where we can enjoy this growth. So our healthcare systems are quite old and archaic. We work in tech. We're used to weekly, monthly, rapid change. Last week we have AI, next week we'll have something else. For decades, if not centuries, healthcare has relied on paper. You go to your doctor gives you a prescription, you go to your pharmacy, and you get it. This has been happening decades, centuries. So what we have been doing in the last year is literally undoing the fabric of this very traditional healthcare system. That's not easy. It is literally swimming against the tide, and we did it for like 20 years, so we get really, really strong when it comes to this. For us, fail fast, fix faster is not just a strategy, it's also a pioneering mindset. You are dealing with German bureaucracy. Has anyone here had to deal with German bureaucracy? No? No? Just me? Okay, I think this side of the room has. This side? No? All good? Okay, cool. And so we had to embody a fighting spirit. So I want to quote Rocky Balboa. Who knows Rocky Balboa? Yeah, right? It's not about how hard you hit, it's how many hits you can take and keep going. And really, when you are in the unknown, that's what it's entirely about, how to keep moving forward. You can also quote me, also fighting spirit. So failure is simply a second chance of doing it again more intelligently. So it's your attitude towards trying something. Failure is not negative. If you come to it with the right attitude, you can do it again and again, as long as you fix it faster. That's the secret. Or you do it the RedCare way. Fail forward, and then you're that much closer to the goal.
Hey. So, good morning. I'm Kanchi Navaratnam. I'm the Director of Product at RedCare Pharmacy. I've been creating digital solutions for over 20 years now, and like Serena and everybody else I know in product, I transitioned to product because I love puzzles and the challenge of solving hard problems, right? So before we jump into the real reason why we're here today, we have some really fun anecdotes prepared for you, and interesting ones, we hope. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about RedCare. So, who here is a customer of Shop Apotheke? That's nice. We love you guys. Okay, the rest of you, please go back right after this talk and, log in, create an account, and become our customer, because that's what we're here for. Anyway, if you know us, then you know that we are actually Europe's #1 online pharmacy, right? But we're so much more. RedCare Pharmacy, our vision is until every human has their health. So at our core, we are an online pharmacy. We are a pharmacy and medicine and pharmaceutical services. That's what we do. But we're also a marketplace, right? So it's not just about your medicine, but we want to meet all of your health needs, whether it's yoga mats or supplements, crutches, whatever you can read, yeah? We also have a great team of pharmaceutical advisors. We're ready to give you pharmaceutical advice whenever you need. We have a lot of services around medication management to help you manage your chronic illnesses. We have almost everything related to health that you can think of, we can help you with, right? So, a few quick facts about us, because we have grown. So we are active in 7 countries. We have about 2,000 employees now and about 11.9 million active customers and counting. Our latest quarterly sales were about 575 million, but a large part of that was also our growing prescription business, right? And why do I mention that? Because we were founded about 23 years ago now, 2001, 23 years ago, by Stefan Weber and Mark Fischer, exactly when Europe and Germany started talking about digital prescriptions and digital healthcare, right? And as you know, everybody who lives in Germany, you've only been hearing about eRx since this year. So what was happening, right? Before we tell you the actual story of what happened, what did the prescription business even look like for us before e-prescription was there? Because we were already in the prescription business for the last 20 years, right? So from the customer perspective, the flow was quite simple. It was slow, but it was easy. You would just mail your prescription to us, those little pink slips. You would just put it into an envelope. We would actually send out these envelopes so that you can mail them to us for free. And then you would post it. If you want, you could add a little note about some other products that you wanted along with that. And then you just wait. If you're lucky, about 1 to 3 days after we receive your prescription, you would get a box with your medication and what you asked for. Hopefully it's exactly what you expected. Sometimes maybe different, but either way, you would get well. And if you're unlucky and we didn't have what you wanted, then we would call you or send you a letter telling you that we cannot fulfill your prescription, probably because of availability or something. And then you would have to wait for us to mail you back your prescription. And then you would need to take that and go to your local pharmacy. And hopefully they have the medicine that you need, right? Because we're quite big. So if we didn't have it, you probably sent it to us for a reason as well. So this is what it looks like. It looked like before e-prescription was a thing. And just so you know what the difference is, we'd like to also show you what it looks like today, so you can actually see how far we've come when we tell you our stories. So, hope this works well. How do I do this? So, Thomas said I can ask for help. Thomas, I need help.
I think you need to...
How do I do this?
Can you click it?
I'm trying.
If it doesn't
We
work when you
have
click it,
technical difficulties.
it's probably...
Go to the next slide.
Yeah.
No.
We can end show. Hold on. Let's do it the old-fashioned way.
It
Hey.
looks like it's only a
Hey.
picture, not the video.
No,
So
it is a video, I promise.
Hey.
Do you have a file in your, like, somewhere else? Just
A local file? No. It's from YouTube, so it's just, it was embedded link. Yeah. So, while Kanchi's doing that, you will leave you in suspense. I will continue. So you can look at me, don't look there. Look at me, don't look there. Look at me, okay. So basically, it was not just another tech launch because things happen. For RedCare Pharmacy, launching, yeah? We
I
good?
can't,
Okay, that's fine, you do that. For RedCare Pharmacy, when we launched NFC solution by CardLink, it was a fulfillment also of why we as a company were founded. Look at me, don't look at her.
Serena,
I see you looking at her.
I can't click on it even with my thing, so maybe you can just describe the flow a little bit. Come on.
Imagine a really, really amazing, simple, cool onboarding flow where you get your prescriptions the same day, if not next day. It's like 2 clicks and then you're done. So, or you can download the app and try it for yourselves. That's okay.
It's okay. But maybe you do just like, I mean, you walk them through the process, right? So you have your prescription. First of all, these days you don't even see it, right?
It's so much more sexy when he does it, though. So, all right.
I can try.
Okay, it's okay.
But
So imagine this is my health insurance card, and this is my mobile phone. Oh, great. Thank you. Audience, would you like to come up, Michaela, and do a demonstration? So you no longer have to imagine. This is a health insurance card, and this is a mobile phone. So on your mobile phone, you can download the RedCare app. And if you have been to a doctor and you have an active, valid prescription, it would be available for you to access on your health insurance card. So your prescription is not on the card, you can just access it via your card. Once you download the app, you create an account, you log in, you click on eRx Start. Once you are there, there is a nice onboarding animation, and we'll get to that later. Very important to remember the onboarding animation. You take your phone, hold it against your card, your prescriptions are available, you add to cart, check out, pick your payment method, and then your prescriptions can be delivered to you either the same day via our local pharmacy partners or the next day via RedCare. So It is pretty revolutionary when it comes to digitalization, transforming in health. Yeah, we're good. Okay, cool. It is quite revolutionary. We went from paper prescriptions to CardLink to NFC in like a year, and that never happens in any traditional industries, like that much change. So it was quite exciting, and I have to say, I think we were also surprised with how quickly that moved. We did not predict that 70% of doctors already in January this year would adopt CardLink and start issuing prescriptions. So, like, positive surprise, happy surprise, but for once, I think we tech were like, wow, we need to catch up. So I'm just gonna keep going.
Keep going,
Yeah, okay.
as we did.
Yeah. So basically, this was a full. I'm going to check my notes because I very much ad-libbed for a second there. Da-da-da. Okay. So all this change happened, and for us, we were part of the change, so we kind of just continued with it. And I just want to take a minute for us to consider the impact of this change, because for many people, you still relied on that paper prescription. You go to your local pharmacy, maybe they have it, maybe they don't have it, you have to come back, or you mail your prescription to us, and maybe we send you something in 2 days, 3 days. If it's shortages, like Ozempic, everyone loves Ozempic, you might not get it at all. So what this enabled is that anywhere you are, within reach, literally, within reach, your phone is usually right next to you, you can pick it up, check your prescription, and have it delivered to you. And this is quite important for people. Like, consider you have mobility issues. You can't get to your local pharmacy. You are in a geographically limited area. Your local pharmacy is freaking tiny, so it never has what you need. For a lot of people in Germany, now we made their medications so much more accessible to them, so always within reach. And that for us is a huge step towards our mission until every human has their health. So yes, tech-wise, very cool, but also health-wise, a huge advancement for the country. What makes our NFC solution so much more special? So I told you I'd come to this onboarding animation that you did not get to see, but if you download the app, you can. So earlier this year, I think it was around February, we had our first kind of version of our solution, and we were like, yeah, like it's cool. Usability tests were done, user research was done, we did prototyping, we were quite confident, and we had a POUX bootcamp, and so we're like, okay, let's try it for fun. Like, you know, we're tech savvy, we're gonna use it, great. We sucked. So we held our phones incorrectly against the card. We put in the wrong authentication. We were impatient with the loading time, so we clicked multiple times. I think 2 of us were able to redeem our prescriptions successfully. So we, seasoned tech experts, were like, this is too difficult. Yeah. So then we were like, okay, slice of humble pie. Maybe we haven't built the most beautiful thing on our first go. And we decided to take a step back and really invest in the user experience. So our app team, like big kudos to the app team, I think, where's Maria? Maria, scoured the internet, 5,000 different mobile devices, created a database where we put down where the NFC chip reader is in all devices so that every user, when they scan, would have a custom onboarding flow so we could tell them, based on your mobile device, hold it like this, hold it here. It seems like a very small improvement, but it was very significant in our user adoption, and we can see it because our app is doing pretty well. But before I get ahead of myself and talk about how cool NFC is, because I can do it for a while, let's start at the beginning.
So we promised you some fails and fixes, right? So we're going to jump into our first fail and fixes. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and talk about like what happened even before we started working on the NFC flow, right? Our first fail that we ran into was challenges with the ecosystem. So we had a lot of false starts and regulatory hurdles. So you know that our company was founded in early 2000s, and that's when everybody started talking about e-prescriptions in Germany. So what were we doing until it went live this year, right? Aside from the paper prescription flow. So we were waiting. We were waiting a lot. So sometime we were waiting for until 2015, there was the e-health act, and that mandated the establishment of a nationwide telematic infrastructure to enable digital healthcare. So we were like, yay, this is finally going to happen. And then we were waiting a lot again. 2019, December, that's when there was the Digital Healthcare Act. And that mandated finally a timeline for the mandatory introduction of eRx. So just imagine, December 2019, and it actually happened January 2024. So there's a lot of waiting in between. So what did we do during this time that we were waiting? One is that we prepared ourselves for the future, right? So you think back to all the pharma processes that we talked about. We went through them, we really prepared them, we tried to optimize them, we prepared ourselves. We knew that when eRx was a thing, some people would still not be able to wait for their medication to reach them via post. So we established a partnership with local pharmacies so that we could enable same-day delivery, right? The second thing what we did is during this entire time when the infrastructure was getting ready, there were a lot of false starts problems because of the doctors. So the doctors were an important part of this ecosystem, and they needed to change so many things. They needed to change the systems in their practices. They needed to work with this new thing. And of course, the infrastructure is also software, right? So they also didn't get everything right the first time. When e-prescription actually went live, it went live, but as a piece of paper. So you had an e-prescription, but the doctor had to print it out for you, and you still need to carry it to your local pharmacy, you could redeem it with us, and we used like a scan and upload function to enable this, right? So imagine Germany had e-prescriptions, but we were still printing them out, yeah? So that was the state at which we started. So all of this changed in January of 2024, when it finally became mandatory for all doctors to issue e-prescriptions. And this was when the journey of redemption of a prescription became truly digital for the customers. And it was great for the customers, and it was great for the for the local pharmacies, but it was still not working for us, right? Because we still needed the scan and upload. So it would still only work for us if you would go to your doctor and say, yeah, I know I can take this to my local pharmacy, but can you please give me a printout because I want to redeem it with Shop-Apotheke and I can only take a photo. So this was not good for us. So the final piece of the puzzle for us fell into place in May of 2024 when CardLink via NFC was enabled. And this finally meant that we had a way by which we can use our app to really scan the insurance card and access the prescriptions digitally, right? And from there, this is when it really, really took off for us. So you can see it was a really, really long journey. So what are the things, the fixes, right? Well, how did we react to this? One is, of course, that during the waiting time, we prepared, right? As I mentioned, we really thought about what future we want to create for our customers. The second thing is that we started considering that doctors are a very important part of our ecosystem. Until today, when we're doing anything related to e-prescriptions, we think about things from the doctor's perspective. We really consider what does this mean for them, yeah? And that was something that was not obvious to us. We needed to learn that. And the third thing is that when you're one of the movers, like when you're first in line, you cannot wait, you can't kick back and wait for the legislation and the ecosystem to catch up with you, because by the time it does that, you're no longer going to be the first, right? So if you want to be the first, you have to actively campaign and work towards that. So we have a great set of people in our company who actually work on public affairs and lobbying, and they were at it every day. So as soon as CardLink was there and as soon as everything was mandatory, they were really working hard every single day to make sure that CardLink via NFC was pushed through the door so that we could also enable our customers to redeem their to have this truly digital journey, right, rather than the scan and upload thing. So our learning here was that no matter how clear your vision is, sometimes it's a question of timing, right? So I'm from India, so a lot of us are like, it's astrology and horoscopes are a big thing in India, and I've always shied away from that. But what we learned here is that sometimes your stars really do need to be aligned for everything to work.
Yep.
Right?
RedCare had the right sun, moon, and rising, so it all worked out just fine. So for us, it's not just a tech upgrade. CardLink was just not a tech upgrade. It was a huge seismic shift in how we were able to access prescriptions in Germany. So Kanchi just talked about CardLink. So what exactly is CardLink? What is e-prescriptions? What is NFC? They're all different, but kind of the same. So e-prescription, the electronic redemption. CardLink is using your health insurance card to link into whatever system is there so you can redeem your prescription. NFC allows you to do it from your phone. So that's kind of a little background on it. So CardLink was actually introduced early last year, and we had a few early adopters with doctors and local pharmacies. But CardLink is kind of an exclusive club because if you're an online pharmacy, unless you have NFC, you can't use it. I live in Berlin. I know a thing or two about getting into exclusive clubs, and I would say it was probably easier to get into Berghain than it was to get CardLink access. So we worked quite hard for it, like really, really hard. It was months and months of difficult work. So for us, the regulations hadn't caught up to using NFC and tech solutions. So we were building against a moving product target. Regulations were being developed, requirements were changing, scope shifted daily. So imagine you're coding and then the law changes, the regulation changes. You had to really have a quick, agile team who had the patience and the sainthood to really take it in and adapt and move very quickly and flexibly through all this entire process. It also pushed us as a company to a different limit because it wasn't a regular product launch. When we were done development-wise, we still couldn't go live. We had to be certified. We had to be allowed to go live. And this relied on regulators signing off on our security concept, on our product. And when you thought you had seen it all, our certifier, I know you're already laughing, our certifier was on vacation in West Africa with his family. And there was, I don't know if you remember last year, or earlier this year actually, sorry, there was the Sahara Desert Storm. So our certifier was delayed by 2 weeks because Mother Nature had to tell us who's really in charge. So we had to wait for our certifier to come back from vacation before we could actually be assessed to go live. That was new for all of us. So at some point, we got to a version where we were done, and we had a security concept, and we were like, OK, we're good to go. We're good to go live. And then what we did is we opened it up to feedback. So we discussed it with our C-level, with marketing, with ops, with our pharmacists, with QA, everybody. We went through all the flows with the fine-tooth comb. We had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We weren't going to mess it up. So yeah, we did the unthinkable. We took a step back, we paused, we reviewed, and said, is this what we want to go live with? I mean, in product, we were like, yeah, of course we want to go live with this. We built something that's fucking awesome. Like, why would you not want to go live with it? Imagine our surprise when we were told, your alpha production version could be better. And then we did the other unthinkable. We decided, instead of being first, we would go with the right product. So we then dug our heels in, took an extra week on top of everything, reviewed the onboarding process, simplified it, removed some additional clicks, simplified the process, made things more clear, and then had a beta version that we were like, OK, we are proud to go to market with this product. So we were not first, but when we launched, it landed. And now I'm really, really proud to say we have the #1 online pharmacy app in Germany. So good job to the team.
Okay, so Serena talked a lot about how we're building this, right? But of course, there's always this very important part before you launch something, and that's testing. So this was very, very difficult for us. So the question for us that we had to ask ourselves is, how do we test something that seemed really untestable? In a normal product development and release environment, we've all done it. We test, we release something to a small number of users, we see if it's okay, if everybody's able to make it, and then we release to a larger number of users, but in a very controlled environment, right? And we're always watching this. And this was not possible for us due to a number of constraints, right? So the first was everything was new. the connection to the telematic infrastructure, that was brand new for us. We were doing this for the first time. The connection between the apps and the NFC and the way to scan things with the card, that was something brand new. Even the fact that we were doing the certification meant the staging environment that we had, that was also new for us. So we had 3 test cards which were being shared by the entire app team, and they had to drive it to each other and post it to each other, figure out really creative ways to be able to even test what they were what they were coding, right? And then there's, of course, certification. So we were waiting for the certification, and of course, we also wanted to go live soon after. So our testing window was very small because you had to get certified, but then you also wanted to go live. But you still wanted to test something in production, like live, have real users go through it. And our window there was very, very, very tiny. You have to imagine that this is also a milestone that this company has been waiting for 20 years. So it was not a quiet product launch. It was going to be a big product launch with a press release and a lot of eyes on us, which also meant a lot of pressure that it should work, because if it didn't work, it would be very, very visible that it wasn't working. The final thing was, it's not like buying sunscreen or like buying, an ibuprofen. Everybody can't just go and say, okay, I'm going to test it. You needed to have internal employees, because of course we want to keep things quiet before it goes live. We needed people with a German public health insurance card. So many of our employees, they're located in Sevenum or in Italy. So we needed German public health insurance card. And these people actually had to go to the doctor and have an eRx live, right?
A real one.
A real one. And this is what we needed. So all of these things needed to come together for us to be able to test. And that was really, really hard. So what did we do? We got very creative, and we crowdsourced. So we asked everybody in our company for help. And it was amazing, right? People came to help us, and there were times when we were really worried about, because it was their medication. They needed this medication, and we were asking them to wait. So we had to really see, okay, how many people do we have, and how long can they wait before they can redeem it with us, And it was very, very tricky for us. But again, due to some awesome people in this company, we made it work. The second thing is, of course, it worked for 10, 20 people at random times, very controlled. We were watching it, we were looking. What would happen when we released and then, 100, 200, 500 people were trying at the same time? We had no clue. We could not even imagine if it would hold up, right? Everything we built, it was brand new. So what did we do there? We made a public, internal branding launch event where we invited everybody with a German health insurance card to come to a kind of town hall, and we had a countdown, and we asked them to all open their phones, have it ready, and scan it exactly the same time. They didn't have an eRx, but we just had them scan it exactly the same time. So this is how we kind of did a performance testing. Was it enough? No, it was not. Were we confident that everything's going to work? Yes. Absolutely not. But we figured that something was better than nothing, right? So we did what we could, and then we just trusted that everything else we would fix as we launched. And we did, so that it worked, right? That's how we reacted. And what we learned here is that sometimes when you have a lot of constraints, you get creative. And that's really great. What I learned personally is it was amazing to see people just come together behind this vision of what your company wanted to do, right? They knew it was a big thing. They knew that this is what we were waiting for, and everybody volunteered. Everybody was like, I can go to the doctor, I'm gonna try. Everybody was really trying to help us. And that was really amazing to see that and to be a part of that. Yeah? So that was how we kind of did the testing bit. Yeah? So those were 3 little fun anecdotes, hopefully interesting to you guys. And I do a quick recap. right? So if you think back to the first story, we did a lot of waiting, and what we learned when we were waiting for our ecosystem to catch up was that we needed to use this time to learn and prepare for the future. But of course, you can't just sit there and wait, but really you have to actively shape the future that you want for your customers, right? You need to think about it. Even if it's 20 years in the future, you're going to have to work towards that, no matter how hard it is, right? The story about the NFC launch and what the app teams went through, it taught us that, you know, a little bit of friction, which comes from different perspectives and different opinions, combined with a lot of humility in being able to really listen with an open mind, right, and not being married to your plan, leads to really the ability to innovate and true agility, right? Being able to say, okay, I'm going to go and do things another way, yeah? And of course, with the testing, we learned that, we have to get creative at times. And like everything else in the world, not only in product development, we're never going to be 100% sure. But if you break it down into tiny pieces and you're trying to validate your risks and your assumptions and test small parts of it, then at least you don't need to take a blind leap of faith. But you can break that down into smaller steps of unknowns that you're kind of passing, right? So that's pretty much what we learned from our entire experience. And now?
Now we'll take you into, you've learned a lot. There's also a bright future ahead full of potential failures. So what we thought we'd leave you with is a fun and maybe a little potentially concerning glimpse into the future. So maybe our future potential failures, because if there's one thing we've learned, things will go hilariously wrong before they go right. So imagine RedCare wearables. You're wearing your glasses. Your AI assistant with the personality tells you, Serena, I'll wait. No, I'll continue. Serena, winter is coming. Do you want your vitamin D pills? Blink once for one package. Blink twice for a lifetime supply. Shit, I just blinked twice. Now I have a shit ton of vitamin D coming my way. And whoops, a drone delivered it to my neighbor. So now I have to go talk to my neighbor about my vitamin D deficiency. Who knows? Like the potentials are crazy. They're wild. Technology is out there. Regulation will tell us what we're allowed to do, and we will figure out how to do it creatively. At the end of the day, every fail is just another step towards getting it right. So here's to future fails. May we fix them faster than we make them. Thank you all for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now it's time for your questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. I have a microphone, and I will use it. Any question? There's a question. Hi, I know you. What's your name and your role, and what is your question?
I'm Robin. I'm a UX designer at Zipgate, and my question is, you said that 70% of doctors have adopted the NFC method, and my question are, how was the experience, and how you got them to adapt it so fast?
We just asked them really, really nicely. No. I would say it was the CardLink method that was adopted. So basically, the German government said, January, you have to do it, and gave them a year. And then we were just really surprised when the doctors did it in a month. So I think clearly there was a willingness and a want from the doctors to digitalize and do it properly digital. As Kanchi said before, there was the scan and upload, so they would still print out a prescription with a QR code, and the doctors were like, that's not digital. That's why we had to spend the next year looking for another solution. That's where CardLink came in.
The government helped.
A lot.
Thank you. Next question. What's your name, your title, and your question, please?
Hi, I'm Clemens. I'm CEO at Local, and my question is, how did you keep up the motivation all the time? Because it was sort of 5 years, and another 5 years, another 5 years, another couple of weeks, and did the team change a lot, or was it the same team, and everyone was sort of stuck together for the mission?
We grew a lot in these 5 years, and I would say what kept us really together was the fact that our founders were in the company, right? Like, we had our founders, they were in the company till very recently, and I would attribute it to them They kept us on the path.
And I think it's not often that, don't get me wrong, in Germany, there's large amounts of digitalization happening in industry, and when it starts, I think everyone wants to be a part of it. So I think there was lots of intrinsic motivation within the team to be on the cusp of something that was new and unknown. It's a new shiny toy. It's kind of exciting.
Awesome. And I would say this was Kanchi, Navaratnam, and Serena, Rocky Nelapatee
Thank
from
you.
RedCare Pharmacy. Thank you very much.